Hello YouTube, today I want to do a quick video on general stats, enhancing, cultivating, all these things that you might or might not know about making your general stronger. First we're going to look at the different stat categories. We've got leadership, attack, defense, politics, also how to improve your general through cultivation, the good way to do it or the miser way to do it. Of course, there are many different ways you can do, but they cost more. So I'm going to show you the cheapest way to get there. And lastly, the importance of enhancing your general. I also have a tip or two along the way that might help you get a better general in the end. So let's start off looking at one general example that's finished off. I have Mehmed 2. And if you look in here at the bottom, it has your leadership, defense, attack, and politics stats, but it really doesn't tell you any tooltips on them. So what you need to do is go into Cultivate, and you'll see the breakdown. Leadership has subordinate city training speed, troop HP, which is important, march speed. Attack improves your attack, of course. Troop defense is what's improved with defense. And your politics, it changed a couple years ago or a year ago, and they added death to wounded, I believe, and so now it's pretty popular, important as well. You have resource gathering speed, troop death to wounded. It's a good thing to have. So really, unless you have a very specific general that has a very specific task, then you probably want all these stats. So to get there, you'll see that at the top here you have my leadership here. That's it's a different color. It's yellow here, whereas my politics is not maxed, so it's still green. But what I want to show you next is just the cultivation. So I need to find a hero that needs a little cultivation done. Let's go down and, I don't know, let's take Peter the Great. Here we go. So if you want to cultivate, you can either spend gems, which are hard to come by, or you can use gold. And the cheapest way is definitely to use gold. So 6,000 is not a whole lot in the end. You aren't going to spend a lot by just using gold. There are a few problems with it though. So right now it's going up. I find that generally it's more difficult to raise your cultivation with just gold, but it is cheaper in the end. So just go through and use gold to get as high as you can. Eventually it'll start to get into some red trade-offs, and you'll have to decide what you want to improve. I try to keep everything roughly even. When you get to around 300 plus 300, when these greens start getting to 300, they won't increase with gold anymore. So if you have roughly 300 or 298 in all of these, then you have to switch to gems. And you might as well use Cultivate times 10 just to save yourself some time here and do total increase. So not the other ones, but just have total increase on, and just keep cultivating that way. It goes really quick after the 300 point. But because you are now using gems, it's more useful to do that when there's an event on for gem consumption, so that at least you can get a little bit of stuff back there. And at a later point, so you have the soft cap at 300, where you can no longer use your gold anymore, and then later on you'll reach the hard cap, and the hard cap is at about 500. 499, 500, depends on the stat, depends on the general, but you'll notice when it turns yellow. So there's a trick here at the hard cap, and that's why I have a little bullet point that says beyond, because when you get to that hard cap, the good thing that you can do that kind of tricks the system is find out where your hard cap is, and then try to get all your stats to be about 1 less than your hard cap. Just around there. Anything close. It's a difficult thing to do, but just get close as you can to that hard cap, and then do your Cultivate times 10 total increase and hit it. And when you hit that, it'll give you a list of possible increases, and because it does 10 in a row, it kind of ignores that hard cap. So you can really end up with some good stats. You just keep refreshing until you get something good that you like, and that'll allow you to go beyond the hard cap. In my Mehmed, for example, you'll notice that I have attack at 510, which shouldn't be possible if I was just doing single gem cultivates. But because I did that, I was able to increase it not to 500, but to 510. So it turns out to work out in your favor. It's a little trick to get a little bit of a boost there. The last thing that I'm going to talk about in this video is just enhancing your general, and that really just increases the stars. So I can't do that here because he's reached the star level capacity, but what that does is it just raises your overall stats, and it's very important to enhance your general as much as possible. There are limitations depending on the level that you have for your general. So if you have a lower level general that's, for example, not 21 yet, you will only be able to enhance them so far, maybe to 3 stars or 4 stars or wherever your cutoff is. But when you hit 21, then it opens up and you can get your 5 stars, and it's just a flat increase. It doesn't affect anything else. It just raises all your stats. So you definitely want to get that. Other than that, feel free to ask questions in the comments if you would like to know more about any of these. I'm going to talk about skill books in a later video and some other aspects to generals. For example, using them in subsidies, what works, what doesn't work. But feel free to ask questions if you have anything you want me to discuss in a future video.